can I break down the tax brackets and give a general explanation of how they work? So the first thing we look at is the filing status, because each status has a different tax bracket. Single, married filing jointly, and head of household. Two that aren't shown there are married filing separately and surviving spouse. Each are separate tax brackets. Now, once you know your filing status, so single is pretty obvious. Married filing jointly, you're married and you file on the same tax return. Married filing separately, you're married but you file separate tax returns. Head of household, it's you without a spouse, and then you have dependents. Surviving spouse is if you have a spouse that passed away recently. Okay, so think of the rest of the brackets as buckets. So I have a 10% bucket, and once that bucket is full, all the overflow now flows down to the next bucket. It's like a cascading waterfall full of buckets. As an example, the 10% tax bracket, if I'm single, if I have taxable income between $0 and $11,000, I'm going to pay 10% on that money. This means every U.S. taxpayer pays 10% on the first $11,000 of taxable income. Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, all the wealthy people, they pay the same 10% on the first $11,000 as the guy who panhandles on the side of the road who's deciding to claim that as taxable income. Once I'm past $11,000, so let's say I have $11,100, I now have $100 in the 12% tax bracket. It's a bucket. It's not a recapture. So once I'm over 11,000, I don't pay 12% on everything. I only pay 12% on the extra $100 or whatever that is. And so as you can see on the bracket, if we're looking at the single filer, the second bracket goes up to $44,725. How the IRS comes up with the algorithms on these numbers beats the crap out of me, but they post the brackets every year. So I'm paying 12% on the money between $11,000 and $44,000. Then I pay 22% between $44,000 and $95,000. Again, it's not everything. It's the first $11,000, I pay 10%. The next $33,725, I pay 12%. The next $51,000, $50,000, I pay 22%. It's a cascading bucket. And that is generally how the tax brackets work. Having the right filing status is important. I know a common question we get, especially with newly married couples, is do we file together or not? As you can see there on the screen, you can almost make twice as much money married filing jointly as you do a single filer and pay the same rate. So if you notice, they're basically double, or almost exactly double. So it's 10% from 0 to 11 for single, but it's 0 to 22,000 for married filing jointly. So usually married filing jointly is a better tax bracket. There are scenarios where it makes sense for your tax professional to look at married filing separately, but those can get pretty specific scenarios. So that's a general overview of how the tax bracket works. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us on our website.